Genie grind and watch him get rich, huh? Remember when I said I hit a lick, huh? I don't really wanna fuck the bitch, what? Willie went and made another hit, okay, like Prada on my motherfucking kid, huh? Louis on my motherfucking hip, huh? Curry how I dunk, no switch, hey, fucker gonna fuck that bitch, hey, if you ain't gon' fuck with me, you a dumb fuck, put up a hit but feel like one punch, look at my bank and I'm getting dumb rich, and I'm gonna count it up till 100,
Hello world, I'm What If Studia, and today we are doing What If Deku was from Subnautica. Let's get right into it. So today we'll be starting off in sort of an odd situation, where Deku is the corporal of the new battleship Aurora, returning 2,000 returning soldiers from the battle across the systems. Deku being their fearless leader, guiding them through every single battle. This is of course being announced by Mayday, his right-hand man, and also very trustworthy secretary. Everybody starts applauding, everybody as in, Devo, his this sort of cheerleader, and it always makes them happy, wishing him a happy 25th birthday. Deku thanking her for this. It goes on to North, a stone-cold man and very stalwart. Wheels in a sort of a gift, a torn flag of their troops' first battle. Deku, very almost blushing about this, thanks him so much and all of them for their hard work and stuff like that, and then they say, that's not all. As Bakugo now charges into the room saying, a vacation with your own brother, as he starts hugging Deku as hard as he can. You can hear the muffled screams of pain under, Bakugo's arm. But Deku, of course, is not very happy to see his brother, as he has to deal with him again. He is a very touristy kind of person and is way too happy to kill his mood. Suddenly, there's a huge explosion. A life alert starts appearing all over the screens, and everything starts to go to shit, as it instructs them to go to their crewmates' sort of life pods. Immediately evacuate. So basically, Deku tells everybody to go to their individual life pods, as everybody gets to their respective life pods and launches out onto the planet nearby, which is of course the planet of Subnautica. As they all land, it's very, very very much havoc. Just not even understand what happens, and once Deku wakes up, he realizes that he's on an ocean planet. Bakugo, being inside of his pod too, wakes up to this and starts freaking out immediately, wondering what they got to do, like what the hell is happening. Unfortunately, they landed right over top the abyss. Having to try to craft their own parts, they find enough parts out from their own life pod to make a sort of a jet propulsion, sort of handheld jet propulsion, which then Deku and him use to get out of the deep zone, finding the normal reef and finding Mayday's life pod floating on top of the reef. As he had already gathered some resources, he wouldn't expect anything less from his best. Mayday says, of course, and I've already prepared a sort of sea glide for us, a blueprint at least for something that could traverse them underwater, allowing them to go deeper sometimes. So he says to continue on with this while they find their teammates. They go out, Deku goes out again with Bakugo on the back of him, reluctantly, having to go on the back of Deku, start going out into the open ocean, finding Devo's pod actually, and finding it completely, just torn up. As they walk in, they see Devo in the corner, sort of gone insane. She's immediately traumatized from whatever had happened. She talks about a Reaper, and he starts asking questions and she cannot answer. They drag her back with them to the thing, which makes the sea glide go very slow, and they start to hear noises out in the abyss. As they drag her back into the thing, they finally find all the parts that are necessary for the sea glide. Making the sea moth, they sort of are now able to go farther, but they need batteries first. And what they remember is that North actually has the batteries needed for this. As they go out again, going out to north squat sort of pod. They starts inside. However, it is completely flipped over, and with the same markings as Devo's. As they find that the batteries are still inside there, they take it out of the out of the thing, and then suddenly they hear a yell from below them in the water. They all climb on top of the life pod, as suddenly they see a red figure go right next to them. As all this water follows with it, it makes sort of waves next to them, rumbling their ship. As Bakugo starts to freak the fuck out, Deku slaps him as hard as he can, and telling him to shut the fuck up. As suddenly he sees the face as it goes right back down. He says, "I'm not getting back in that water, man." Deku forces him back into the water and forces them all the way back to the reef, which then they collect enough to get in the sea moth. As all of them try to shove themselves into the sea moth, they try to basically help Devo recollect herself. However, that is to no avail. Devo is completely insane and will be on that planet forever. So she's starting to eat. Through the rations, they bring as many as they can with them. Bakugo, Deku, and Mayday all squish themselves into the sea moth, launching into the deep into where they had found this signature sort of energy that they had felt before on the radars. It was a huge temple underwater. As it started, it was sort of lit. Something was in there. So they go in, as they're all in their sort of respective suits. They suddenly see a king on a throne holding some sort of weapon, a trident. As Deku says, "Finally, something." He gets out of the pod, starting to swim his way over to it, and grabs onto the trident. However, Mayday tells him to stop because there might be some booby traps. And sure enough, the floor under them shifts out, starting to twirl, hitting them on the top of their heads, throwing them down into a cave system, a lava cave system. They sort of find their way throughout the cave system, trying to find where they are. However, it is super, super hot, as they figure out that they're in a magma zone. In this magma zone, there's thousands of creatures that they have to fight their way through. However, they only have so much air. So once they do find a pocket of air under a volcano, they slowly have to get out of there because of the lava. So once they get out of the lava, they almost lose Mayday to it because he was trying to get too much air. Once they get out of that, suddenly they hear a roar, a thundering roar. As they look up and see the exit to the main place above them, they all start to go up, as Mayday seems to just be standing still. Deku checks with him, asking what's wrong with him. He's going insane, basically. He has gone through so much and had his leg almost taken off by lava. He's had enough. And then they hear a gigantic roar behind them. Deku turns around, looking past all of the mounds of dead bodies and skeletons of the people that had been here before him, and sees a gigantic sea dragon, the body of an octopus and the face and upper torso of a dragon, able to spit fire at anywhere he likes. And he spits it straight at him. As he dodges away, Mayday gets hit right on the temple, destroying half of his body and combusting him into nothing as he falls into the abyss and adds to the body pile. Deku and Bakugo start swimming up as fast as they can as they see a crack in the ceiling. The floor trap had maybe malfunctioned this time. As they get up to it, they start pushing as hard as they can, punching and pulling like rabid animals. But they can hear it coming closer and closer as it readies up a shot. Bakugo stares Deku right in the eyes and looks back down at it. Holding out his hands, he says, "Atomic!" as the as the sea dragon comes closer and closer, its blast meets almost straight to the hands of Bakugo as he fires, blowing up the fireball inside of its mouth, blasting outwards and covering its face in blast marks and blowing up Bakugo. As the scars around it start to heal a little bit, it must have regeneration, he says. God damn it, Bakugo! Why? God damn it, I still have to go though! He keeps on pushing, however, he just can't do it. It still is coming. How does he get out of this? As he stares at the crack and looks back at the dragon. Wait a minute. As it comes closer and closer and tries to ram its head into him, he dodges to the left, forcing it to hit the ceiling, spinning it all the way around, trapping the sea dragon against the side of the wall, stuck inside of the trap door. The trap door's mechanics starting to wobble as it's trying to crush the sea dragon. Deku had been spun out of whack and thrown very far, inside of it at least. And as he recomposes himself, he sees the sea dragon struggling to get out, as the whole room is shaking from it trying to get out. He takes out his survival knife, throwing it at the beast, trying to hitting one of its eyes. As he swims as fast as he can at it, using his air pressure tank to shoot him at it. He's starting to lose air, however, he needs this. As he grabs the knife, he starts stabbing as hard as he can into its shells. However, it still has arms. As it grabs him and throws him as far as it can, it's shrieking in pain. And he hits the bench. As it hits the seat of the king. He looks up to see it readying up a gigantic blast inside of its mouth. He remembers back to Bakugo. He's starting to lose air, but he can still remember. He remembers Bakugo blowing it up in its mouth, its own blast in its mouth, as it took massive damage from that. He has to. As he grabs the trident, ripping it out of the skeleton's hands, he chucks it as hard as he can, aiming directly for its mouth. As it's about to fire the blast, the trident hits in the side of its mouth, blowing up the inside of it, causing a huge explosion of fire and death. He is losing air. He takes a rest down onto the seat as he's starting to black out, until suddenly he wakes up. The room has no water in it, as the body is limp of the dragon. He sits on top of the throne's skeleton's lap, and looks out as the skeleton starts to talk. Congratulations, you have completed the test. Take your weapon, and what is it that you want? As he finally takes off his mask, breathing a fresh, part of air, he says, "What weapon?" As he looks back, seeing the weapon, seeing the trident, he rips it out of the sea dragon's mouth, carrying it over and limping down on it, as he had been scarred very much and harmed a lot during this whole thing. He can barely even feel his right leg, using it as a crutch, sort of, and getting over to the talking skeleton again. He figures that it's actually an alien intelligence inside of it. What is it that you want? It asks again. He replies, I want to go back. I don't want to go. I just want to go back. He means back to his house, back to where he was comfortable. They take it a different way, however. Very well. He says, what? You'll do that? You have completed the test, haven't you? As he's like, what? This was all a test? Yes. Now, enter the portal by hitting your weapon on the ground several times. As he hits the ground several times, the water starts to correlate itself into a sort of portal, a water portal, collected from the dragon's blood. Some of the water was corrupted by the dragon's blood inside of it. He looks curiously as the alien says, "We'll be self-destructing in 10 seconds, after all. I think that you should go now." As he says, "Fine." As he steps through the portal, he wakes up in a shower. He realizes as he's not like wet anymore, he was actually just, in a shower, showering regularly. He swiftly gets on his clothes, however he realizes that these clothes are children's size. As he looks in the mirror, he finds himself to be almost what he looked like when he was 13, exactly how he remembered it. Almost exactly. How is that possible? I mean 15, sorry. He opens up the door out into a party of screaming children and people, and just kids and teens, celebrating the birthday of someone named Momo Yaoyorozo. He does not remember such a person. However, he does see her doing party tricks, sort of making stuff out of nothing. Curious about if this was her quirk, he walks forward and then he sees a table of kids, ones that exactly look like Deku, Devo, and North, and all the rest of them. Mayday even there too. How could this be? He talks to himself. Could this be in the past? No way. Is that what they took it as? Oh God, I gotta find my way out of this now. How the hell? And thank you so much for watching this, everybody. I'm so proud of this one. I've written it down 1,000 times, and I just want to thank you for even taking time out of your day to listen to my dumbass talk on video. And I guess that'll be it. Thank you so much, world, for watching, and I guess I'll see you someday. Sometime. Bye-bye.
Genie grind, I wish I'm getting rich, huh? Remember when I said I hit a lick, huh? I don't really wanna fuck the bitch, what? Willie went and made another hit, okay, like Prada on my motherfucking kid, huh? Louis on my motherfucking hip, huh? Curry how I dunk, no switch, hey, fucker gonna fuck that bitch, hey, if you ain't gon' fuck with me, you a dumb fuck, put up and hit him up for that one punch, look at my bank and I'm getting dumb rich, and I'm gonna count it up till 100,